Red Dead Redemption 2 is possibly and probably one of the best games ever made. It has some of the best characters, one of the best written stories, and one of the most vast and amazing open worlds that I've ever seen in gaming. With the undeniable success of Red Dead Redemption 2, there comes the question of what Red Dead Redemption 3 will be like. And while talking about Red Dead 3, there brings up the subject matter of what characters and story we will follow. A lot of people bring up the Linde gang and say that the next game should be a prequel story or a sequel story to Red Dead Redemption 2's events as a whole. But here's the issue with this. Red Dead Redemption has a full-rounded story, so why would we bother adding another piece to a full circle? Personally, I don't see how they could make the story any more interesting. When Red Dead Redemption first released, I can understand why people may have wanted a backstory, because Red Dead Redemption gives you a whole bunch of characters that you don't know a lot about. It gives you a reason to wonder what exactly happened to cause this fallout among people that once saw each other and loved each other as if they were family. John talks a lot about how Dutch lost his mind, how Dutch was once this noble man who saved everyone in the gang and then lost his mind, and anyone who dared to question him would be left for dead. Not to mention, he also brings up that everyone else did the exact same. My point here is that there was so much exposition to things that you knew nothing about in the original game. Red Dead Redemption 2 explained all of these. They showed how Dutch lost his mind, they showed how the Pinkertons ended up finding John, and they showed how the gang not only left him, but also Arthur for dead. There was an actual reason to make a prequel story about Red Dead Redemption. The problem with trying to make another prequel story for Red Dead Redemption 2 is that making a prequel story about a prequel story, number one, doesn't make much sense, and number two, in the grand scheme of things, how would this offer any more to the overarching story of Red Dead Redemption as a whole? But here is possibly the biggest reason why this would be a mistake. Because it takes away any mystery, any speculation of how the gang became so notorious. What would be the point of having all these interactions of gang members telling stories around the campfire about how they joined the gang? It would completely remove one of the best parts of Red Dead Redemption 2. They made all of these different interactions to give you an idea of who these people really are. We don't need to know every little detail. Some of the best stories have mysteries behind them, and I don't feel that we need to know every detail of how the game became what they were in Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, what do I think the next game should be about? I think the next game should be about a completely new cast of characters, a new gang to write in, maybe how Landon became such an infamous gunslinger. I think people forget how good the story was in the original Red Dead game, Red Dead Revolver. Barely any of the people who have played the Red Dead Redemption games have actually played this one. Hell, I haven't even played the game, but the story in this game is incredibly good, and Rockstar makes one badass main character. They could very easily do this for Red Dead 3. It doesn't need to be about Arthur, it doesn't need to be about John, it doesn't need to be about Dutch or Hosea, it can be about a new character. And I feel like a lot of people are afraid to break away from the Red Dead Redemption series. And this brings up another point that I don't think that the next Red Dead game should have the word redemption in it. I think that at least for now, the next game shouldn't have this whole redemption arc. I would personally like to see Rockstar do something different and not give us a redemption story, but maybe a story about how Landon became such a good gunslinger. Maybe a story of how he grew up and became so famous. I think that something like this could be a lot more interesting for the story of the next game, because it would be the first time in a long time that we got a Red Dead game about a character that wasn't associated with the Linde game. And you know that playing as this motherfucker would be badass because he was the fastest in his time. You can imagine how badass his Deadeye would be, and I think overall, playing as a younger version of Landon would be very, very fun. And want to know why Landon would be the best choice for the protagonist of Red Dead 3? It is because you could directly tie in the story of Landon to the Linde gang. How, you may ask? Because this motherfucker was in the Blackwater Massacre, so we could experience what the Blackwater Massacre was like, but from a completely new point of view. And honestly, I think experiencing it from somebody else's point of view instead of Dutch's or somebody else in the gang would be a lot more interesting. We already see how crazy Dutch gets. What's the point of seeing that but just much earlier? It's pretty much just the same thing. This could also serve as a vessel to bring back one of the most beloved areas of the original Red Dead Redemption, Mexico. I know a lot of people, including myself, would like to see this place come back in a Red Dead game, and Red Dead 3 could be an opportunity for this. I also want to talk about the possibility of a sequel story to the events of the original Red Dead Redemption. Though I do think this holds more ground for storytelling purposes, it also has a fatal flaw of not matching the time period and not matching what the game was about. I've heard people say that they want a game about Jack Marston that involved him fighting in World War I. Quite frankly, I just don't think that would be a good idea. This game is not supposed to be Battlefield. However, I do believe that having a story about Jack's life after the events of Red Dead Redemption could be pretty interesting. However, I still believe that they should focus on another group of characters. Now there is one last thing I would like to talk about, and that is, what if Rockstar does make Red Dead 3 about the Van der Linde gang? There's not a doubt in my mind that the game will still be really good. I want to remind everyone, because I get comments about this on my YouTube channel, that I'm either complaining or I come across as too strong with my opinions. So I want to remind everyone that regardless of what Rockstar does, I still believe that the game is going to be amazing. After all, this is Rockstar, but they make really, really good games. And I know for a fact that no matter what they do with a Red Dead 3, I know the quality of said game is going to be amazing. But with that, this is the end of the video. I appreciate anybody who has watched to this point. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more content like this. And let me know down in the comments what you think the next Red Dead game should be about. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I love every single one of you. Hoot hoot, motherfuckers.